Imo State confirms diphtheria outbreak with 6 deaths. Death toll in Niger State flooding rises above 100. Judiciary workers threaten strike from June 2nd. Democratic Republic of Congo Justice Minister under fire over $90 million transfer. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Hawa Gambo. Thank you for joining us. The death toll from Wednesday night's flash floods in Mokwa, local government area of Niger State, has surged past 151, with emergency officials warning the figure could rise even further as recovery efforts continue. Torrential rains unleashed devastating floods that swept through communities, destroying homes and sweeping residents into River Niger. Rescue teams have so far retrieved at least 115 bodies, while dozens remain missing. Others like fishermen and Juma Shaba now sleep rough, having lost their homes. Meanwhile, children play in contaminated waters, rising fears of disease outbreaks. Experts have long warned about Nigeria's vulnerability to climate shocks, and the situation in Niger State is grim. Housing along floodplains and blocked waterways continue to exacerbate the impact. The Nigeria Meteorological Agency has earlier issued flood warnings across 15 states, including Niger State. With the rainy season still at its early stages, authorities and humanitarian groups brace for more emergencies. In 2024 alone, floods killed over 1,200 Nigerians and displaced more than 1 million, making it one of the worst flood seasons in recent memory. The Imo State government has confirmed the outbreak of diphtheria in Imo State. It disclosed that several suspected cases had been identified in the Mbutu community in Abombaise local government area of the state. Consequently, the state government has offered to treat the patients free of charge. Reports say no fewer than 6 school children were found dead a few days ago as a result of the suspected ailment. Schools around the vicinity have been shut. The State Commissioner for Health, Chioma Egu, in a statement said the ministry has activated the rapid containment response mechanism to stop the spread to the other 26 local government areas in the state. Egu assured that the measures were in collaboration with development partners, putting it under control and seeking the collaboration of people to contain the outbreak. Joining us, we have Abubakar Akote to give us an update. Hello, is Akote online?
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Akote. Can you give us an update of what is going on? What is the government saying concerning the immediate arrangements for those displaced in Mokwa?
For now, government has not officially released any arrangement for the displaced persons, but officials are still searching for those whose bodies have not been recovered, because up to now some families are saying that they have not seen the bodies of their relatives who have died in they are suspected to have died in the flood. But state government has not officially released any arrangement for the displaced victims.
So, have there been any victims that have been rescued alive? People who have been affected by the floods, have there been support a camp set up for them or somewhere where they can find refuge until after the floods?
So far, Nsema said 11 people have been rescued, though they are injured. They are receiving medical attention in Bokwa Hospital. But the death toll right now is 151. And for now, the expectation is that those who have not been found suspected might have died, because it's almost 3 days now that the flood has occurred, and they suspect that some of them might have been washed down to River Niger. And if that has happened, their chances of surviving is very slim.
Thank you very much for that update, Akote. We appreciate you. And we look forward to getting more updates as the government releases more information. The Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, has directed its members in all federal courts nationwide and other judicial institutions to withdraw their services from the 2nd of June. The union's National Vice President, North Central, Mustapha Laminu, said this in a statement signed and issued on Friday in Abuja. Laminu said the strike had become imperative to press home its demands, as their members were yet to receive the 1-month wage award recently paid by the government. According to him, the action is to protest against the non-payment of 5 months arrears of wage award, non-implementation of the 70,000 naira national minimum wage, and the non-implementation of the 25-35% salary increase. Laminu alleged that disinformation at their disposal revealed that the Ministry of Finance had released a new amount to the Accountant General of the Federation, who has refused to pay the judiciary. He therefore called on all chapter chairmen to ensure compliance to the directive. As insecurity escalates across Nigeria, the dual threat of rising displacement and disrupted farming is pushing the country towards a humanitarian crisis. Millions of IDPs remain exposed in unsafe camps, while persistent attacks on farmlands in states like Benue, Zamfara, and Kaduna are crippling food production. Experts warn that without swift intervention, the deepening crisis could trigger widespread hunger and prolonged instability. Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima has more in this report.
With over 3.2 million people displaced by conflict, according to the United Nations, Nigeria's internal displacement crisis is worsening, especially across northeast and northwest regions, where insurgency and armed bandits continue to uproot families. States like Borno, Zamfara, Katsina, Benue, and Niger have been hardest hit. Many IDP camps in these areas face overcrowding, food shortage, and lack of basic protection. Security expert Sana Aliyu says the absence of strong security architecture around these camps leaves them open to exploitation by non-state actors, turning vulnerable citizens into soft targets or face recruits by terrorist networks.
We have a lot of IDP centers here and there, but unfortunately they are not being properly taken care of at the IDPs. And again, there is a lot of encroachment, infiltration into the IDPs by the terrorist groups. So there is the need for specialized eyes again to ensuring that the people in the IDPs are properly profiled and a lot of resources given to them. And that's why we are calling on the Ministry of Humanitarian to step in.
Aliyu recommends the creation of dedicated counter-terrorism task force tailored for rural communities, focused on early threat detection and rapid grassroots intervention. He insists that waiting for attacks to occur before responding only prolongs the cycle of violence.
The government need to be proactive on time to create a counter-terrorism organization that will be given that full mandate to engage terrorism everywhere, and that will make sure they checkmate activities in the various townships they are having and villages, so that when they are having unrest in the forest, they don't have a rest place, a respite in the forest, they intend to come back to town. The counter-terrorism agency that will be created will be the one to engage them and not allow them to come to town.
Activist John Ogullela says the consequences extend far beyond security. In regions like Plateau, Kaduna and Taraba, farmers are abandoning their fields due to fears of attacks, fueling a production crisis that is pushing millions toward hunger. The National Bureau of Statistics reports that over 26 million Nigerians are currently food insecure, with prices of staple food like rice, maize and beans having nearly tripled in the past 18 months.
Thousands of hectares of land forsaken by farmers because of insecurity. That's a terrible thing. And of course, when there is no farmer on the farm, there is not going to be a crop, there is not going to be yield, and there is not going to be a supply of food to the market. And where there is no supply and demand is constant, you're going to have the prices flying.
Ogullela argues that agricultural initiatives by the Tinubu administration cannot succeed in a climate of fear where farmers are more concerned with survival than harvest. Together, both experts underscore the need for a dual prolonged strategy, one that simultaneously enhances security in rural zones and ensures stable food supply lines. As Nigeria battles on multiple fronts, they warn that failure to act now will tip vulnerable communities into deeper chaos. Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The National Independent Electoral Commission (INEC) has officially sworn in 6 new resident electoral commissioners (RECs) to fill existing vacancies across Nigeria. This move was described by INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu as a critical step towards strengthening the country's electoral process. Here's the report.
The newly sworn-in RECs include 2 returning appointees, Johnson Alalibo Sinikem and Mukhtar Umar Gajiram, who are beginning a second term, and 4 new RECs, Saad Umar Idris and Feyijimi Sashiye Ibiyemi, both former INEC staff, Chukwuemeka Christopher Ebeziako, a legal practitioner, and Omar Yusuf Garba, an experienced private sector administrator. The ceremony took place on Friday at the INEC conference room in Abuja and was attended by key officials. In his remarks, Professor Yakubu welcomed the new appointees, noting that their deployment completes the Commission's staffing in all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). He emphasized the significance of their roles, describing the conduct of elections as not only a major responsibility but a sacred duty. INEC boss reminded the new RECs of the need to operate within the confines of the law, uphold their oath, and engage constructively with stakeholders while maintaining transparency and professionalism.
All 6 of you have cumulative experience in election administration or the management of public affairs to justify the confidence reposed in you to serve in the high office of a resident electoral commissioner. As you assume duty or as you resume duty today, I urge you to focus on your responsibilities. Let me make it clear from the outset that you must at all times be guided by the electoral legal framework, the Code of Conduct for Resident Electoral Commissioners, as well as the regulations and guidelines governing the Commission's operations.
Professor Yakubu further announced the deployment of the new RECs within their respective geopolitical zones, excluding their state of origin as part of INEC's policy to enhance neutrality and reduce conflict of interest. The occasion also saw the announcement of the timetable for the upcoming governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun State. The Ekiti election is scheduled for June 20, 2026, with party primaries running from October 20th to November 10th, 2025. The Osun election will follow on August 8, 2026, with primaries between November 24 and December 15, 2025.
For Ekiti State, the election will be held on Saturday, 20th July 2026. However, party primaries will start on 20th October 2025 and end on 10th November 2025. In the case of Osun State, the election will be held on Saturday, 8th August 2026. Party primaries will start on 24th November 2025 and end on 15th December 2025.
Speaking on behalf of the newly sworn-in Rex, Saad Umar Idris delivered a heartfelt vote of thanks, expressing deep gratitude for the trust placed in them.
I therefore, Honorable Chairman, sir, wish to assure you and the entire Commission, and indeed the Nigerian people, that the values and objectives of the Independent National Electoral Commission will be highly be our guiding principle. We pledge, sir, to discharge our duties with utmost integrity, impartiality, and professionalism.
The event also served as a solemn moment of reflection as Professor Yakubu led attendees in observing a minute of silent prayer in memory of late retired Major General Abubakar Modibo Alkali, a former commissioner who passed away in April.
The Federal Capital Territory Water Board has announced that there will be a disruption to water supply in the nation's capital in the next 2 weeks. The board, in a statement, alerted its customers within and outside the city center that due to the ongoing rehabilitation works of the water treatment plants at Lower Usuma Dam, there will be disruption of water supply to both city center and the outskirts. The board said the rehabilitation work would pave way for the connection of the electromechanical equipment of its treatment plants, which is a major component of the rehabilitation work. The disruption, according to the board, started on Friday, May 30th and will run till Friday, June 13th. In view of this development, the FCT Water Board has appealed to residents, particularly customers, to kindly store water that may last them for this period, including an alternative supply to augment their water needs. The House of Representatives Committee on the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, says the worsening condition of roads across Nigeria is largely due to poor funding. The committee is now calling for urgent improvement in financial allocation to the agency to ensure it can meet its mandate of making federal roads motorable nationwide. Here's the report.
During an oversight visit to Kwara State, as part of a larger tour across the southwest, the House Committee of FEMA flagged off a series of inspections to evaluate ongoing road rehabilitation projects in the region. The tour covers 7 states: Kwara, Ekiti, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, and Ondo states.
FEMA as an agency, we as the member of the committee of FEMA, it is our responsibility to go around to be sure that all the money appropriated for FEMA for the purpose of road maintenance was spent according to the purpose for which they were approved. But where we are, after our meetings, the brief that we received from the directors and the state engineers in charge, we are quite pleased with the volume of work they have done in line with our 2024 appropriation.
Speaking to journalists in Ilorin, Committee Chairman Aderemi Abbas Hussaini decried the meager 10% funding currently allocated to FEMA, far below what is needed for the agency to function effectively. The committee first met with FEMA engineers from across the zone to set clear expectations on road length, quality, and delivery times. The latter moved to inspect 9-kilometer Adewale of Garage Junction Road in Ilorin, one of 5 projects currently underway in Kwara State. While the committee expressed satisfaction with progress so far, they reiterated concerns that FEMA remains underfunded and overstretched, a situation they said must change if the government hopes to improve the country's roads network.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his Renew Hope agenda, immediately after the inauguration, his primary objectives, especially in the area of road infrastructure, is to make all the roads across the country motorable across the country. And when you look at what he has invested, especially when you look at our 2024 appropriation and 2027, 5 appropriation, you will see that he has a deliberate intention to see that all roads across the country are motorable.
Supporting this position, the FEMA Zonal Coordinator for the Southwest, Babatunde Ayina, said increased funding is vital to reduce the number of bad routes and improve safety and accessibility across Nigeria.
The work you have can only address critical sections. That does not mean that there are no sections that are bad. We have potholes all over, but we have to avoid those ones because of the amount that's been available to us. So we address only critical sections, hoping that when the next budgetary allocation comes in and this road is also mentioned for appropriation, we can also continue from there.
He reviewed that 21 road projects were approved for rehabilitation across the Southwest, with many already completed and others near completion pending further releases of funds.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, pressure is mounting on Justice Minister Constant Mutumba after explosive allegations over a multi-million-dollar no-bid contract and suspicious fund transfers. On Tuesday, lawmakers grilled the Attorney General for 6 hours and Mutumba for 5. The focus, a $29 million deal awarded without competition and a $19 million payment to Zion Construction wired just 1 day after the company opened its bank account. The funds didn't come from the state treasury but from Frivao, the agency managing $325 million in war repatriations from Uganda. That agency falls under Mutumba's direct authority. Defending himself, the minister admitted to errors and asked for forgiveness, but claimed that he is the target of political revenge. Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan will lock horns in Saturday's Champions League final, with the French side hoping to win European club football's biggest prize for the first time, and the Italians eyeing their 4th title. The match, which kicks off at Bayern Munich's 75,000 capacity Allianz Arena at 9 p.m. 19 hours GMT, pits an experienced Inter against a PSG team appearing in their second final since the transformative Qatari takeover of the club in 2011. Whoever wins will succeed Real Madrid as champions, and excitement is notably at fever pitch back in Paris, where around 40,000 people will watch on giant screens at PSG's Parc des Princes Stadium, with a huge police presence is planned around the city. The climax to the European season has thrown up a mouth-watering clash of opposing styles and ideas of how to build a team, a contest between one of the continent's old guard and one of the state-owned modern super clubs. Despite enormous spending, PSG have never won the Champions League before, coming closest when they got to the final in 2020. That was during the pandemic, when they lost to Bayern behind closed doors in Lisbon, despite the presence of Kylian Mbappe and Neymar up front. And with that, we come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for a constant live stream of programs and documentaries. My name is Hawa Gambo. Thanking you for joining us, and see you next time.